everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. This is Kana and you're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in the corner today. Would you like to introduce yourself to everybody out there?
Absolutely. Hey everyone, this is Stephanie Nadolny, voiceover actress from the Dallas, Texas area, also vocalist and actress. How's it going?
It's going really good over here, and hopefully it's going good over there as well. I hope it's a good day.
It's a good day. It's a hot summer day here in Dallas. I've been doing a lot of stuff indoors today. I have a little baby Persian kitten that's running around the house, so I've got my hands full, and I'm a happy little camper.
Aw, cute. My cat, she was coming around and kept trying to bug me before the interview. I love her wherever she is.
She's a doll, and it's the first time I've actually owned a cat. I'm actually somewhat allergic, and I've never had them. I only had dogs growing up, so this has been a completely new experience. But I stay on top of my, allergy sprays and everything, and I'm doing okay. I'm so in love with her, I couldn't get rid of her anyway. I would just have to suffer with them. So her name is Winnie, but we call her Itty Bitty. I've had her about 2 weeks. I'm happy as can be. In between renovating my house, I've got a little kitten running around, and it's been very, very, very fun. It's been a lot of fun. So.
Well, you sound like you've been busy, but it sounds like a good busy.
It's a good busy. I'm actually a freelance vocalist, and I have a home band that I sing with during the week on Wednesday and Thursday mornings at the WinStar World Casino in Thackerville, Oklahoma, which is about 50 miles north of here. And on the weekends and other nights, I freelance with other show bands and work special events, clubs, parties, weddings. And it's been really fun and exciting to be back on freelance basis because I'm able to kind of pick and choose who I want to work with. And if the calendar allows, I work with all of them.
Well, now it seems like when I was doing my little stalking on the internet, researching and being a little bit nosy, that you've used your voice for a lot of jobs that you've had. But how did you start enjoying that? How did you begin knowing, oh, I love talking or I love singing?
Oh, well, that goes way back to when I was a little girl. I remember even as long ago as age 3. My dad had an old 8-track stereo, and he plugged in a couple of microphones and put in an 8-track, and was taping me and my brother singing Christmas songs on these microphones. And I remember at one point we just had one microphone, and I wouldn't let anybody else hold the microphone pretty much from then on. It was pretty much my microphone, and I wanted to just sit and play and sing and dance and around and laugh with that microphone, and it kind of started there. And it grew into a fascination for taping my own voice, taping other voices, and listening back and trying to mimic what I heard. And little did I know I was actually being groomed to possibly be a voice actor one day, which I didn't even know that job existed because I was just a little kid. But I took a fascination with that kind of stuff, which, I think was a little different for a little girl, for an 8-year-old little girl. And from there, it just became just a fascination of mine. I used to make little recordings, and a friend of mine in middle school, she and I all throughout the summer would make up interview shows, and we'd have characters, and we'd interview each other, and we just had a time with that. And I do still have those. They're actually on cassette tape. I still have most of those, and I'm going to hopefully soon find a way to transfer that over to some more current data so that the data's not lost.
Right.
I think that would be really fun to listen back to, my voice at 12 and 13. But, they are deteriorating as we speak. So that's one of my things to do on my long list of things to do.
Well, there's a lot of nostalgia factor there.
There is. And, the singing just was always there. I grew up listening to my dad's disco records when I was little. Every time he would pick me up every other weekend or so, my parents divorced when I was 6. So whenever my dad would come and pick me up when I was a little girl, my favorite thing to do would be to go to Sound Warehouse and this is back when we were living in Houston, Texas, and I would pretty much beg him for an album every time we went. And sometimes it was a little record or a 45, but if I could get him to buy me an entire album, I would. And my favorite singer back then, and still to this day, is Donna Summer. So, so the singing kind of came along with having a fascination for music and listening to music a lot with my father. My mother also loved music, and so, you know, that also came at a young age. I would sing pretty much all the time, to the point where, you know, my parents would have to tell me to kind of be quiet so that they could get things done and not be, you know, bothered or distracted. Singing down the road on road trips, you know, I would keep them entertained. And from there, it just kind of grew into talent shows and community theater, and involved in some in dance teams, you know, at school. I pretty much would dive into any project that involved singing, dancing, acting. If it was up to me, I would have moved to California at a young age and pretty much, you know, tried to do Disney or something like that. But my parents would have nothing of that. They wanted me to, you know, grow up as a normal childhood as possible. So they were not going to be stage parents or anything like that at all. They had their own careers, and they wanted me to just pretty much do all that once I got older, you know.
Well, when did you get the chance to make it a career?
That chance came right at the end of high school. We moved around every 3 years, and we settled around the Dallas area, where I'm still so happily residing. At the time, it was tough. I didn't like moving away from my friends, and it never seemed convenient. It was always in the middle of the school year. And it was a really hard time being uprooted. I got attached to my friends, and then all of a sudden, when they start to kind of accept me as no longer being the new girl, it was time to move again. But when we settled here, I graduated high school and started to go to college at University of North Texas in Denton right away. And at that point, I started making music connections with local area talent. Actually, this particular university has an amazing college of music. There's also a lot of original local entertainment in the small town of Denton. Not that small town, I guess, but a lot of music, a lot of originality. So I was able to make fast friends with people that were studying music, that were currently playing in bands. From that point on, it happened very quickly. I was actually singing put together a group that was kind of already put together called Backroads Romance. We decided to call it that after I joined. But before we could get up and running and actually book gigs, a neighbor across the street living in that same area was hearing us through the window rehearsing. And he came over one day. Yeah, one day I was leaving. He stopped me and said, hey, his name's Lindy Wilson. He had his own group, Hollywood Heart. He was starting his own band, Lindy and the Look. At that point, I was asked to audition for his group. And from there, I met his agent, who also happened to be the same agent for Vince Vance and the Valiants, which is a established rock and roll nostalgia show band with 3 girl singers. One of their singers was leaving the band after being in the band for about 5 years, and she had gotten sick and needed to stop traveling. So basically, I jumped from this brand new band, having just started, within 4 or 5 months, into an audition with Vince Vance and the Valiants, which is actually they're celebrating their 40th year this year. So I did audition. They took me out on the road with them right away, and I pretty much have never really looked back. I've just kind of been riding the roller coaster of this crazy show business. And in fact, I just performed with Vince Vance last weekend. It's been 20 years now. This is my 20th year as a professional vocalist.
But it's what you love, so naturally you'd continue doing that.
Yes, I continued doing it. I actually started working with some other groups on some side projects for Chuck E. Cheese. I started working with Brave Combo, which is a Grammy Award-winning polka band. laying down backup vocals for some of their projects. If they needed a girl singer for a show, they would call me up and I'd sing with them, mostly at weddings and corporate parties and special events. That kind of started out as just me sitting in and really enjoying their music and performing on the same stage with them at, area festivals and special events around here. I know we actually played a lot of the same shows up at Munster. There's a German Fest. It's a festival that's just north of here that takes place once a year. And basically just by being in a show band and traveling and being around other musicians, opening for other bands, things like that, the network just kind of happened naturally. Did a lot of traveling back then. We were working between 170 and 200 days a year. Longest tour I went on was 28 days, so I was literally on the road for a full month, and that was really something else. I'm glad I jumped on the road, though, when I was much younger, because I could definitely withstand a lot of the crazy lifestyle of not knowing when you're going to eat or sleep and catching a nap in a van or a bus or on a plane. Learned a lot about street smarts, came from a really sheltered family, had to pretty much learn how to grow up quick, and it was quite the experience. And from there, just things kind of happened on their own. I'm actually a go-getter, so I'm definitely out there. I was pounding the pavement, looking to meet new and exciting, people in the industry, try to get into jingle work. I was able to meet some great people up at TM Studios who had me perform on some comedic parodies, which actually I ended up starting to write comedic parodies. And being the mimic that I am actually helped with that, because when you write a song, you take a song that's already been released, you change the lyrics, and then when you produce and re-record it, if you can sound like the original artist, it actually comes across as much more funny to the listener. So I did dabble with some of that, with some jingle singing. Producing jingles is something I'd like to do. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm trying to set up my own home studio, but I'm renovating my house, including painting the inside and outside. So my house has been under construction now for several months, and I haven't been able to put my office together just yet, but that's a goal of mine. The voice acting career came into play when I was working at a studio cutting some background vocals for Cyborgs, which was, I believe, an animated feature out of Funimation Productions. At that point, I met Barry Watson, who was a producer, and he was actually recording Dragon Ball Z up in Canada. And at that point, we exchanged information, and I want to say 8 or 9 months later, we received a phone call for an audition at Funimation Productions, and this was in 1999. Went in, auditioned, and they selected me for the role of young Gohan. And that's kind of where my anime career began.
Did you ever think that you would get casted like that? You spent so much time singing. Did you think that voice acting was for you?
Oh, absolutely. I'd always had an interest in it, but I just wasn't really sure. I didn't know a lot about the industry, and I wasn't really sure that there would be any way to do that in the Dallas area. I'd heard a lot about L.A. and New York, being the centers of that type of work. I know that I guess it can be done anywhere, but I really just didn't realize that there was a place to do that and there was a venue for it until I met Barry, and things kind of happened from there. And Funimation was actually a much smaller company at the time. It's grown immensely. It's actually even changed locations over the past, I want to say, 4 years. 4 or 5 years ago, actually, is closer to my house. It was way out in Fort Worth. There was a limited amount of people involved as far as a casting pool, people that would be cast. The casting pool was smaller. Some of the directors were actually also voice actors. We had one studio to record in, one padded booth. Technology has really jumped ahead because I want to say a couple months ago I had an audition after many years of not being in the loop of the whole Funimation thing. When I auditioned, everything's on computers now. There's no more paper scripts. It's all on a computer screen. It was really amazing how far it's come. But it's been an honor to be a part of something that has grown into something so large, and to be there when it was, still kind of a baby company, and, still hope to get back into it again. I miss it a lot. But I'm friends with a lot of or I stay in contact with a lot of the directors, I should say, and keep in touch with people on Facebook. And, it was a great ride. I mean, the whole Dragon Ball Z thing was, lasted many years. And as the shows, our dubs, succeeded, certainly Funimation was taking on new properties. And that included Dragon Ball, which was great because I was also cast as young Goku for the Dragon Ball series. From time to time, there would be some side voices that I was cast in. I want to say I was East Kai, Baby Trunks, Angela, Gohan's first girlfriend when he was in high school. One of the German English teacher, which I thought was hilarious, that it was a German teacher, and she was teaching English. That was fun. And then we mentioned talking about the singing of the animation themes. That kind of happened all throughout the whirlwind of the recording of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z around 2002 and 3.
And that's something I only see Funimation do. I haven't seen any other company do it in a really long time, and I wish more of them would. So I'm kind of interested to hear more about it.
Yeah, and some of the properties, I want to say they didn't redub the opening and closing theme. So I'm not really sure the technicalities of that, copyrights. I'm not real sure exactly how that worked. I do know that having worked with Great Combo, who their actual founding member was Carl Finch, he actually got involved in the writing and arranging of some of the Japanese themes, and then his band would go in and actually lay down the tracks, and at that point in time I had an opportunity to audition for some of the vocal roles for those. And at one point I remember actually sitting down and taking the translation of some of these themes and helping come up with the English translation. So I was able to actually use some songwriting skills and some putting lyrics together. And I actually was even asked to produce one of the themes myself. I actually brought in Tiffany Vollmer, who had been interested in some singing, and brought her in and actually cut the entire demo of an animated theme. I can't remember the name of the. I'd have to go back and look in my records to see what the name of that one was. But she ultimately wasn't selected to sing it, but that experience in itself was very rewarding, as actually being on the other side of everything. I'm used to being the one behind the microphone, and this was like me making kind of a piece of music happen with a vocalist and giving her direction, and it was a great experience. So I remember there was a lot of interesting jobs kind of coming available by being involved with Funimation at the time. So yeah, I ended up singing the opening and closing theme to Kitty Grade. I sing a theme in Case Closed, as well as Sayonara Bye Bye in Yu Yu Hakusho. I didn't hear much more about the animation themes after that. I know a lot of the properties, they just use the Japanese theme, and I know that fans have, mixed reviews about what they think and how it should be done, and that's certainly, they're entitled to that. I'm not real sure if they're doing any of that animation themed stuff again right now or not. I'd have to find out.
I've seen, one or two now and again. Like I know the one for Oran High School Host Club the ending and the opening were redubbed for that, and that came out, I believe, in 2008, 2009. So it's not something that's necessarily died, but you don't see it as much as, you did. And I always thought it had some sort of charm to it myself.
Oh yeah, and at least having it as an option, like now that when they release the DVDs of these properties and the dubs, it'd be nice that if both of them were available for the fans to have a listen to both, and then just enjoy both of them. I mean, why not? I would absolutely love to do some more animation themes. I think it would be fantastic. It's just a tricky business, There's the ups and downs of it. There's the owners of the company, there's the people trying to make money, and there's the people that are involved with distribution, there's the graphics department. I mean, there's so much involved in making something like this happen. So that's where I don't have a lot of expertise, just having been mostly a voice talent. So I'm not real sure how that all, I know there's also copyrights, and you have to follow a lot of rules, and there's a lot of red tape. So there might be, reasons why there's not a lot of those being redubbed at this time. It might just be simply too expensive, or there's just, there's not a budget for it. I'm not real sure. But I cherish those times of getting to go in the studio and record. In fact, recording is one of my favorite things to do. Going into a studio, closing the door, just making magic happen over however long, hours at a time. Actually was working with Carl Finch with Brave Combo, and we actually put together our own album of his own original material. And let me tell you, that was some of the best studio experience of my life. And to this day, working in a studio and recording is there's just really nothing like it. And obviously jump and dive headfirst into it any chance I get. At some point, I am going to want to put together my own album, whether it be my own material or not. I haven't decided yet, but I definitely have that on a goal list, and hopefully that can be tackled here within the next year. Now, performing live, there's also a huge dynamic. It's equally rewarding in different ways. There's nothing like coming together with a group of musicians, making it happen on the spot, just true ear candy, and seeing how it touches these people's lives and the looks on their faces when they're enjoying the music, when they're clapping along, singing along. That's also very rewarding. And so there's various aspects of the music industry and the voice acting industry that I like, but recording and then performing live are my two favorites. It's been just wonderful. And, speaking of the animation and the animes, getting out in front of the fans is something I really, really miss. I haven't gotten to do a whole lot of that, being that a lot of my vocal projects are on weekends and conventions they take place on weekends. There's been some conflicts. Right. But I was able to go out to Pennsylvania last fall and appear at Kiro Festival, I guess is what they call it. And I had just really, really missed it. And it was a small con, but it just kind of reminded me of, how much fun it is to get out in front of the fans, chat with them about the show, do some question and answer panels, sign some autographs, and just hang out with these great people, I really miss it. So hopefully in the next few months, I'll have to check my schedule. I'd really like to jump back in the con circuit. I really miss it. I know there's also some conventions around Dallas area, so I'm hoping to be a part of those when they come back next year. So yeah, it's just been great.
Well, that in itself is something we can talk about when we get back from the break, but we're going to take a very short one here on 91.8 The Fan, so don't go anywhere. You're tuned in to your favorite station where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.
Hi, I'm the Celtic Guardian, but you guys can call me Dave. When I'm not busy being sacrificed in order to summon monsters that are halfway useful, I like to listen to 918 The Fan, one of the hottest online radio shows on the worldwide internet highway. Did I mention I have like 1,400 attack points? That's a big deal in my world, Plus, I have a sword. Does the Blue Eyes White Dragon have a sword? No. the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Seriously.
Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. We are still here in the corner, and hopefully my special guest is still here. Would you like to give us a sign of life?
You talking about me?
Maybe. Is there anybody
Hey!
else? Just wanted to make sure. You never know. People might just disappear.
No, it's just me and my little Persian kitten right here, but she's taking another cat nap, which is normal. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
will give you a big giant Kamehameha if you'd like to hear one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the fans will go crazy over that if you're willing to scream that loud.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was so good. I haven't seen the show in such a long time. I watched it when I was in. Hopefully this doesn't make you feel old. I'm sorry. When I watched it when I was in elementary, when I would watch because it came on right before Sailor Moon did. So those were my entry gateway drugs into anime.
Oh wow, yeah, because they've been around for a while and they're hugely popular in Japan. In fact, you know what's funny? Speaking of that, I was over in Italy in the year 2000 for a USO tour with Vince Vance and the Valiants. And when I would turn on my TV over there, I actually found an Italian dub of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh gosh, that must have been
really
odd.
Cool. It was crazy, yeah. And it was Gohan. I heard the one doing Gohan, and I actually turned on my video camera and kind of videotaped a little bit of it. It was really pretty cool. And then somewhere else, I remember I was in Mexico for a trip, and there was also a Spanish dub of Dragon Ball Z. It was pretty neat. I actually found a store that sold Dragon Ball Z manga and, scrolls and posters, and I actually bought a big giant sweatshirt over there that had Gohan on the back. It was actually the whole cast of Dragon Ball Z on the back. It was like a hoodie. It was really cool. I was like, I can't believe I'm in Italy and I'm buying Dragon Ball Z stuff. This is really neat. So I didn't even know, when I was cast as Gohan, how hugely popular that show was. And in some ways it still is. They're taping Dragon Ball Z Kai now, which I don't know much about. Unfortunately wasn't asked to reprise my role, sadly. But, I wish the show success. I wish those guys the best, always. Maybe there'll be another show or some other opportunity for me in the near future. So we'll just have to see how that goes.
Well, are there any, future endeavors you're looking out for that you want to promote to the listeners out there?
Absolutely. The High Rollers is a show band that I perform with Wednesday and Thursday mornings up at WinStar World Casino. That website is www.thehighrollersmusic.com. That's thehighrollersmusic.com. That is still, and it's sort of its baby stages, but there's a basic website up and a little video. The other band that I've sung with off and on now for almost 20 years, is celebrating their 40th anniversary. That's Vince Vance and the Valiants. That would be vincevance.net, vincevance.com, or vincevance.biz. You can also Google Vince Vance and the Valiants, and there's also a lot of YouTube videos up of different performances from over the years. Another band I sing with is Max, M-A-X-X. We perform locally, mostly, weddings, parties, clubs, and special events, and that website is www.maxband, actually no, it's maxbanddallas.com, maxbandallas.com. And what else is there? I'm also going to be performing with a band called Jam Sandwich in Arlington.
I love that name.
I know, isn't that cute? My first performance with them is July 14th in Arlington. There's also a website for Jam Sandwich. I don't have that address handy. We're also performing for a huge 45th class reunion on July 16th in Jackson, Mississippi. So we're going to be getting our show together for that. Mostly oldies. They want to, they want to hear a lot of this music from the 60s and 70s. So that'll be a lot of fun. And think that's about it. My personal website is on hiatus right now. I'm actually looking for a webmaster to put it together, and that's going to be stephaniesvoice.com. No apostrophe, just Stephanie's Voice. I own the domain name. I've just got to get that up and running, hopefully the next few months. And I think that's about it for now. I've also got a Facebook fan page, Stephanie Nadolny, voice actress. My friend Nicole runs that. And so, yeah, if there's anything coming up, it'll be posted there. And I'd like to stay in touch with my fans. So if you like what you hear and you've liked what you've heard, go click like on my page. And hopefully we can all stay in touch and I can get back in the con circuit and stay amidst and among my favorite fans, and those are anime fans.
Well, you did say that, you really liked going to conventions and seeing the fans again. Is there anything planned there, or are you just kind of waiting for that to develop?
There were a couple of weekends in August I was asked to appear. However, I was booked with some pretty big shows and was unable to commit to them. As of now, I'm still on the lookout for some other weekends, and then obviously as they contact me, I will know more. So, this has been great. Signed Goku.
Oh, so cute. I'm sorry, that is so cute.
This fight is meaningless. Masenko! Okay, now I'm in pain.
I was gonna ask, is the boy voice a little bit hard to do? Because I would assume it's a strain on a female voice, regardless as if they use it a lot.
Yes, the young Gohan voice, especially in the Cell Saga, was very, very grueling. Actually, my voice has kind of changed over the years, having done that role. My voice actually. It's not a bad thing. I think it's got a different sound and quality to it. It's a little bit raspy. I use that to my advantage depending on what kind of project I'm working on. And it's seasoned, it's kind of a different seasoned voice. So, I'm embracing it, and it's been great. And I hope to stay in the voice acting / vocal live performance and studio performance for the rest of my life. I don't really see myself doing much of anything else except hopefully getting married and having little baby Stephanies.
Well, try not to teach him how to scream like you did in Dragon Ball. That might be a little bad for your sanity.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think they're going to probably be doing plenty of their own screaming anyway. That's usually what happens. So, but thank you so much for having me, and maybe we can do this again sometime.
Of course, and before we let you go, we actually have a tradition here on 91.8 The Fan. Would you be willing to participate?
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. This is something that we kind of put you guys in the spotlight for this one, but we ask everyone if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay.
Now, this is something that we actually do live on air, so if you do mess up, everybody hears it. But don't worry, they'll still love you, I promise.
Okay.
We basically ask if you'd be willing to say, hello, my name is, I do this, insert, that you're a singer or you're a voice actress or any characters you've done, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Let me see. Okay, I can do that. And you're tuned into.
Yes, and you're tuned in.
Are we rolling now, or?
Yes, we are completely rolling, so take one whenever you're ready.
Hi, this is Stephanie Nadolny, voice actress for Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. Voice of Gohan and Goku, as well as a professional vocalist. Hey, and I just want to say, hey, you're listening to 91.8 The Fan. Yeah.
Well, it's actually 91.8 The Fan.
Oh gosh, can we do it again?
Yes, we can do it as many times as possible. But whenever you're ready, you can try to take
91.8 The Fan.
Yes.
So see, I did goof up. We all make mistakes. Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Nadolny from the Dallas, Texas area, voice actress and vocalist. namely known for portrayal of Kid Goku in Dragon Ball, Kid Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, and Kid Goku again in Dragon Ball GT. Great to be on the air here, and you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. Yeah!
See, that was perfect. You survived.
I was like, I'm on the spot. Oh my God.
That's the only time we put you on the spot, I swear. But thank you so much for this. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, and please call me back in a few months, and I'll post it on Facebook and get the fans out there to your site, and I hope they enjoy the interview.
I'm sure they did, and if anybody out there tuned in a little bit late or you missed anything and you're just tuning in now, don't fret. The interview will be posted on the website in the next few days, so keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan, everything you want and nothing you don't.